What happens when you have friends or family members whose political views, political stances don't line up with yours or are directly opposed? Do you stay friends? Should you stay friends? Can you choose to not stay friends? These are all questions that are in the dialogue this moment following the election that just happened. So we're going to get into that today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations for the People with Matthew Solomon. I'm Matthew Solomon. And one of the things in the aftermath of Trump winning the election is a lot of social media posts about how um, don't let uh, an election ruin a friendship. We shouldn't let political views tarnish a friendship. Um, Somebody even said something about it's immature to let politics influence your friendships. And why? Why not? Why? A colleague of mine, Nikki Black, who I did an interview with, y'all should check out. Um, this isn't a this is not a direct quote, but something I've heard her say. I'm paraphrasing. Uh, Something I've heard her say many times is, "We're all grown ass people. Like we can be friends with whoever we want for whatever reasons we want." And in a lot of ways, we're friends for whatever reasons we become friends, and that can change. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter in the scheme of things because, we're all born, we all live our lives, and then we all die and move on to wherever's next. Um, if there is a friendship or some sort of connection that has lasted many years, and for some reason that connection, that reason is no longer in place, then what does it matter? What does it matter if it's politics or, um, we have our divorce rate is well over 50%. People get divorced all the time. People who've been married for 20, 30 years get divorced. Um, we we can find our communities. We have a a right, a privilege to um, be connected with people that we share values with. And sure, we don't have to agree on everything, of course. Like if we're talking about politics, we can disagree about how roads get paid for instance, or um, how the fire department gets funded or whatever. There's things like that. But for me, when my survival, the survival of my loved ones, the survival of people in my community, survival of people outside of my community are directly put at risk, um, and somebody whom I've been friends with doesn't care enough to vote in alignment with protecting people's lives, then there's not really a basis for a relationship anymore. Um, Being in this work, traveling in the circles that I travel, being somebody who I work in conflict resolution, so I'm mediating all the time. I'm teaching people how to mediate. Um, I'm in spaces with community members who have been consistently marginalized by a system that continues to oppress all of us. I've sat with and continue to sit with the pain of people having lost loved ones to police violence, state violence, um, gang violence. Being in community with people experiencing so much pain and working so hard towards liberation and experiencing joy, um, it's really hard. and out of integrity, honestly, to then go be in community with the people that want to cause them harm. And so I know there's going to be folks that are like, oh, those are just talking points, or you're spewing propaganda, or it's not really like that, or you're exaggerating. And this is the kind of gaslighting that consistently happens, whether it was with the Me Too movement or Black Lives Matter or any number of liberation movements calling out oppression and oppressors. Um, I've literally spent a lifetime studying this stuff, um, being curious and interested in systems of oppression and how people are affected by it and how people live inside of it and survive it and work to get out of it. And so, no, we don't have to be friends. If there is dialogue to be had, we can have dialogue. Um, if it's good faith dialogue too, because that's another thing, working in conflict resolution and mediating, like the parties really have to be invested and committed to finding mutually beneficial outcomes. So when you have a public figure running for office whose platform is deporting millions of immigrants, um, taking away women's access to health care, uh, further marginalizing Black and Latino and Muslim communities, all while partnering with like the few folks from those communities that are willing to do that. But when you have somebody whose whole campaign of the last 9 years has been on othering and division and um, and supporting violence, like literally an insurrection on the Capitol that we watched with our own eyes, those of us who are paying attention, who have followed that story to learn how deep that well went with people and groups working to overturn the results of that election. Um, like the felonies, the rapes, the sexual harassment, the boasting about sexual harassment, the being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and having competitions about who was going to sleep with who, like all of that. And then you're going to tell me, yeah, he's not that bad, or oh, yeah, okay, but really, I just want the cost of eggs to come down. Um, nah, we can't be friends. And honestly, you don't have to be friends with me either. And I get it. You know, as I was in a volatile relationship about 10 years ago. And I was in this program that was all about personal development and taking 100% responsibility for our relationships and, you know, taking leadership and being like, no, all right, if we got a problem, you know, I'm going to stand firm and work to solve that problem. We're going to get through this together. And I was in a relationship with somebody who fought all the time and found little things to fight with me all the time. And there were so many things where it was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I would go and, you know, get some coaching and feedback. Then I would come back and try something else. Then I would go and this cycle kept happening until one day, one of my friends in that course was like, you know, you don't have to do that, right? You know, you don't have to keep trying, right? You keep trying and you're not playing with somebody who is committed to a partnership. You're not playing with somebody who is invested in you like you are with them. You're not playing with somebody who's willing to learn how to communicate and listen and be in right relationship with you. So, you know, you don't have to keep pushing, right? And trying, right? And I didn't know that because I didn't have an example of that because I thought, okay, if I just try harder, I can make it work. And so for those of us who have gotten to the other side of being on the receiving end of narcissistic abuse, for example, who've been in relationships with people who um, are only out for themselves, who are trying to cut you down at every opportunity, who are trying to undermine everything that you do, who are trying to make you second guess yourself. For those of us who have been in those relationships, who have gotten out, who then see it for what it is, the only way to win and survive is to not play. And so, in the spirit of individual and collective liberation, in the spirit of self care, we get to be friends and family, chosen family, with whomever we want for whatever reasons we want. And, people can debate, you know, points all, like as much as you want. Like, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't feel good to be around somebody or in a group with people, we don't have to do that. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for being a part of Conversations for the People. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, leave reviews, all of that stuff that helps the podcast keep going. And then make sure you watch Reimagining Safety. Go to reimaginingsafetymovie.com for a list of our upcoming screenings and for the ways that you can watch the film at home. Until next time, all power to the people.